Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, your weekly source of weekly stuff.
I love your intros. I really do.
Today, unlike last week, we have a few more apps to be talking about that are definitely coming out next week, and we actually had a new release too. So, but before we get to that and the news, let's go over our highlights of the week. Brad, did you have anything that especially stood out to you this week that you played or that you saw online? Or
Well, basically, what stood out to me this week, as far as games go, is the new update to Pistol Whip and their promise to continue. It seemed like Pistol Whip really took this week to plead with everybody and up their game. And I really have no idea what's going on, but they seem to really be throwing a lot of hype that way.
Yep, and they moved to a remote studio too. Remote work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, everybody has moved to remote work. I mean, literally everybody I know is either working remotely or not working. So it's it's crazy out there.
They're working.
Well, I guess it's funny because my biggest disappointment is just the fact that I really thought that I would see VR light up like a Christmas tree now that everybody is locked in.
Right. Well, it kind of is in some ways, but it's also still got the limited availability because no one can go out and buy a new Quest right now.
I know. But even the ones who are on Quest, it would be, I think, behoove all of us now that we know it's not going to end this Sunday.
Right.
It looks like we're going to be stuck around for a while. I would hope to see a little more organization going in getting some events going here in VR. So that's what I've been looking forward to. And I signed up for the Echo VR
I did too.
Alpha. Somehow
Of course,
I got that, right? And I just got accepted into another non-disclosure beta that I'm trying out. Well,
nice.
Alpha, beta, we'll see whatever it is, I'll let you know. And so that's another thing to try out. But like I said, I really did think that I would see the week play out in VR with a lot more participants now that we're home.
Right.
And the other thing is I think I'm going to stop watching television because the thing that's really I've noticed is that every broadcaster has a cold, the flu, or COVID. So,
or cocaine? What?
Well, I was saying COVID-19, but
okay. It sounded like you said something else. I'm like, well, we're not that kind of
right. No,
we're not that kind of show. We're not going to talk about that. No.
Right. So, but as far as actual highlights go, I can't say that I've given anybody the time I should have. I do see that Shadow had some great opportunities and some major meltdowns this week. So, as well as people calling for Netflix to stop streaming because they're breaking the internet.
About Shadow that they've had to kind of throttle the new users to coming in because they've got so many signups now that everyone's off work and whatnot. And
right, I know. It's like
I had to kind of slow that down to flatten that curve.
I know, because I was going to sign up for it the other day. It was like, okay, look, now that they're introducing their new tiers and all this other stuff, and it looks like they're going coast to coast, so I probably can get them here in Florida. And it was like, oh, yay. And as I'm reading that, I'm reading their post that says, sorry for the major slowdown, and some of you might be having trouble getting on the servers, and give us a half hour, and this is how to reset your computer. And I'm thinking, this might not be the week to try Shadow.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still a good service, and if you get in, this will circle up and they'll get it all sorted out. No, it's just a matter of balancing things so that there's not too much load on everything, making it bogged down. And they've got it so that if you are idle on your shadow computer for like half an hour, it'll automatically shut down, which is great, except some of the VR users have said, wait, it's shutting me down even though I am using it, because I guess it's not always picking up VR input as input.
Right, exactly.
So all that means that you need to periodically go wiggle with your mouse.
Right, that's not too immersive.
Or tap a key or something, or yeah. So, anyways, my highlights of the week were, obviously, I was in the Pistol Whip tournament. I did not win. I ended up like 64th place overall.
Oh, that's still
out of like 101, 102 people. So we're right smack in the middle.
That's great. Hey, that's still quite an accomplishment, Josh. I would.
Yeah, I played like 4.5 hours over the entire weekend of it. The very top people managed to play like 10 to 20 hours.
Oh, wow.
Over the weekend. I bet their arms and legs were completely jello by the end.
Oh, yeah, they paid. They certainly paid for that. So, but at least, that's a nice thing to have done.
Yep. And I did a little tilt brush and the sculptor. I had to indulge my black humor with those by making a couple of things involving toilet paper.
I kind of like the one with the stormtroopers. I thought that was.
Yeah. Did you see the little video I made of it?
Oh yeah, I just
with the music.
Yeah,
all that dramatic music.
Yeah, I know the music was quite dramatic. It was. I wanted to see the toilet paper moving or something though at the end.
I know,
holding it up. But...
Well, that involved quill, or maybe adding another brush to give an illusion of a little movement. I don't know, but anyways, I also played a few side quest titles just last night, so they're still very fresh in my mind. I played a side quest title called Dead Scope, which is kind of you're out in the open air, but it's I want to be a Dread Hall like environment. It's some enemies you have to hide and sneak past other enemies. You can't look at other enemies. Will chase you down. Others will just scream and then so and it's kind of a roguelike thing, I believe, and its claim to fame, I guess, is that you have a quote-unquote dead scope, which is a periscope attached to your chest, and you pick it up and you look around and you can see the enemies and the dangers in front of you, and there are hidden log files that you have to find, marks on the trees and whatnot that you can only see with your dead scope. So it's promising. It has teleport only, and if you teleport a real short distance, there's no sound given to the enemy. If you teleport a long way, it's like you're going, so the enemies can hear you.
Okay.
I'd rather it be smooth locomotion, with how fast you are pushing on the trigger, or a light movement of the trigger is slow creeping, all the way is running.
Right. Yeah, no, black contractors, I understand.
Yeah, so, but I tried level 1, and first of all, it has a little buggy still. It's like early access type of thing. So it's a little buggy. I got killed in level 1, even though I hadn't run into an enemy, but I guess its hitbox was a little bit large, and I brushed up against the edge of it. So, and so I went back to the beginning of that level, and all of the bushes were gone.
What happened to the bushes, Josh?
So, well, the bushes are what you use to hide. If you are in the bushes, the monsters can't see you. But some of the bushes have monsters hiding in them also. And if you walk into those guys, they scream and make a lot of noise, and then another monster comes and tries to kill you, or whatever. Well, I saw those monsters standing there with no bushes around them. Had no bushes for me to hide in. And I was like, So I did the long distance teleport, the noisiest one. Not a single monster got triggered. So it messed up on the restart of the level.
Right. Okay, so buggy, as you said. Well,
yeah. So, but it's got promise. It was also a little jittery at times, especially when you're in the bushes. I think there's a few too many draw calls because of the individual leaves of the bushes. So
yeah, it sounds like it. So far, that's 2 bush-related problems there. Yeah. So I would imagine.
Yeah. So, anyways, I also tried Virus VR, which is where you are building a virus, like a 3D jigsaw puzzle. Basically, I forget which virus has got you building, but they said in later updates they want to include the coronavirus, of course, and I think influenza or something like that. So, but so this is just a basic virus, and you have two different parts, and you can choose what texture it looks like, and then you grab them and have to find the right surfaces to attach it to each other, and build it out like you are building a soccer ball starting from one spot and then going all the way around. It's a little buggy also because the pieces are very loosely attached to each other and they're kind of floating. So if you let go with your left hand, it starts floating away, and if you grab it with too hard a motion, pieces fly off, so you have to get more pieces and redo what you just did. So it's a little difficult, but it's a good effort. And the last one I did was Black Holes, Light and Matter. This is a simulator that allows you to visualize the lensing of a black hole. And you can increase the mass of the black hole from 1 Earth to like 3 Earth mass or whatever, and you can change the height of it and change the background from the Milky Way to a purple galaxy to another. It's got like 4 or 5 different backgrounds you can put on there. Okay. And has also got a mode where you can send objects into orbit around it. So
around the black hole.
Yes.
So you send them into the event horizon to last there forever?
Or just orbiting around it, outside of the event horizon.
Okay. Well, the closer they get to the event horizon, the longer it takes.
So I didn't explore that portion of it because it's getting really late. So I stopped with just the lensing. It's not made by game developers. It's made by scientists, so they want the feedback on how to make it a better game, like experience. So, it was fun. I had one crash when I started when I tried to record it. I opened it. I then started the recording, went back into it, and it crashed. And I went back into it, and my recording was going already. So I'm like, Okay, well, we'll see if that recording works.
Okay. And did it?
I don't know. I have not checked it yet. So,
Gotcha.
anyways, moving on to the new releases. The biggest new release that we had was a surprise new release, where the artist was none other than Danny Bittman, who a lot of you are faithful 13 viewers or subscribers may already know on the Twitter and Gravity Sketch and Toothbrush and on YouTube. He used the Gravity Sketch and Toothbrush to make all the art in this app. And the app is Color Space. It was a surprise announcement. Nobody knew it was coming, as far as I know. And it says only $9.99. And I got it at my wife's behest because she really enjoys this kind of app on the phone. And it is a coloring book app. You have a 3D space in front of you, obviously, well, it's around you, but on the 2 levels I did, it doesn't have you doing the turning around to color things behind you. Everything's kind of in a 180 field of view that you need to click on. But I don't know if that's the same for all of the drawings or not. It might be or might not be. But it's got cool, soothing, meditative, relaxing music going on. It's got a nice tutorial to help you learn everything. And like a lot of these apps on the phone, you have a limited color palette. It's pre-chosen by the devs to work together harmoniously.
Right.
And you point at the area that you want to color, and it shows you everything that is going to be affected by that color. So if I point there, it might color that rock, but also this rock over here, because they are paired, or it may only color that rock.
Okay.
So, and as you color, it plays musical tones that work with background music, and when you are done coloring everything, there is life and there is movement in the scene. In the tutorial scene, you add the color to a ladybug, who then, as you keep going, flies around to different spots.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, and there is when you're all done, the flowers are kind of like bobbing and just swaying a little bit, like they're the breeze. So, in other words, it is designed so that it is still interesting on a meditative level to stay there for a few minutes after you have colored it.
Right. How long would you say it takes to color? I mean, if you take your time to...
I don't know. There we go. I said I was gonna be trying it out around, right at 9:56 this morning. I tried it out probably starting at 10 o'clock. I was done like 10:07, 10:10, and I had done the 2 scenes. But that's not taking my time and appreciating everything fully and using it as a relaxation thing. But yeah, that is a downside, is that these are not the extremely complicated scenes that you would get in a coloring book. at a store where it's got like thousands of spaces to color. But it is relaxing, it is fun, it's enjoyable, it is very well done, and you could probably go through all like 14 or 15 the drawings in half an hour to 45 minutes. But if you do that, you are missing the point, because the point is not I beat the game, but is to relax and meditate and go slow and take a moment to breathe and relax.
Right.
So
sort of like a paint by numbers type approach, where you don't want to rush through it and have it done in 5 minutes. You don't mind spending some time with it, and then, especially with you saying relaxing afterwards and being able to enjoy the scene moving.
So we had an interruption. I'm going to edit that interruption out. Our recording software decided to crash on us. So I was talking, I think, about how I like the general type of artwork and coloring and whatnot, but I prefer to make the drawing as well as to do the coloring. I do something called Zentangle inspired art, which is a similar thing, especially if you add the color, and it takes a while because you have to draw slow and all that stuff. So, in my opinion, the Color Space is a very good app, and it's one that, even though I personally would not probably come back to it repeatedly over and over again, it's one that I'm going to keep because it's just well done, and it's beautiful, and it's something that I can let my wife use if she wants to relax. It's something I can let my son use. We can all use it, and he can reset what I did and should do his own version of it. And between all of us using it, it'll probably get above the 2-hour return window. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, not the highest rating, but with good probability of success in the future.
For what it is, I would give it a high rating. And for a lot of people, this right now is something that is needed. It's something that's not going to get your heart rate elevated. It's not going to fuel your aggression or whatever because you are shooting enemies and whatnot. It's going to drain some of that out of you, and that's good.
True.
So
at this particular time, I guess any sort of stress relief you could find is a good thing.
Yep. So I also wanted to touch on a few new releases on the Oculus Go platform. Simply because
the Go is not
the Quest Untethered podcast. It's the VR Untethered podcast. So we should be including the Go and other forms of untetheredness as well. So I saw there were that I didn't go into great research level of detail to find out if they were all released today or if there's more that were released, but there were these 3 that were the most recent releases. There's Magnetism Intro and Learn Orbitals, which are put out by the same company, B-Box VR. And there's also Experience the Energy, put out by Mammoth VR. Magnetism Intro and Learn Orbitals are STEM-based apps where you are learning about magnetism, where you are learning about the periodic table, and learning orbitals when I didn't do a lot of research. I'm assuming that refers to the orbiting of the electrons and all that kind of stuff. So, but they are both free, and I haven't given them a try yet. Maybe I will later. I don't know, but they look decent. They have a cute little robot that will help you in the app. And Experience the Energy is a virtual career fair app for basically experiencing which of Canada's industrial or a manual labor having to do with energy jobs you might be suited for. So,
okay, sort of weird, but okay. Well, it's nice to know that the Go is still being developed for. That's,
yeah. So it's not dead yet. Not all the way.
I was going to say, I don't know if I would want you as my doctor. That is something that I don't think I would really rely on leaving the office feeling really good about. Having my doctor tell me, you're not dead yet. So.
Oh, no. I said the Oculus Go is not dead. It's not you. You are dead.
That's true. I was hoping that with telemedicine you wouldn't notice it. And I was going to do my version of Weekend at Bernie's. But
Well, we are. I am currently animating you via remote telepresence.
Okay, stop doing that with my hand. It's annoying.
So anyways, let's move on to the upcoming titles that are coming out next week. A lot of them we already know about. We've talked about them for a few weeks. I touched on them in our a midweek episode a couple days ago. We're recording this Saturday. The midweek episode went out, I think, Wednesday or Thursday morning, rather. We have the Room VR. Highly anticipated. It looks excellent. It's coming out on Thursday. We have Down the Rabbit Hole, which is coming out on Thursday, and it has a contest associated with it as well on Twitter and on Facebook, where you can enter or you can win swag, like a T-shirt, a deck of cards, etc. And on the very last day, all your entries on the daily giveaways also count towards the final giveaway, which is an Oculus Quest. So.
Always nice. And you would think that the people that were applying for winning the game would probably already have the quest, but it is always nice to be able to get another quest.
Yep. And of course we have Lies Beneath coming out on Thursday also. And a surprise title that was announced in the Oculus GDC blog, B-Team, which started out on the Go Gear VR platform and was an on-rails shooter. It's a kind of a slapstick version of the A-Team. It's going to be coming to the Quest on Thursday, and supposedly it's going to be updated for 6-stop controls. I'm not sure if that means that it's no longer on rails, or if it just means you'll have two hands and the ability to move around your hands.
Right.
So I'm not sure which it is yet, but it's one to keep in mind. It looks like it's got a lot of humor in it.
It's the best kind.
Yes.
I find unhumorous humor to be very tiresome.
And boring humor is just horrible. It just falls flat. It's lame. So also next Thursday we have the Echo VR closed alpha that will be starting. If you have not gotten an application for that in yet, I would highly advise going and getting an application to put in. We can put the link for that down in the comments.
Okay.
or the description, one or the other. And of course, we have a date finally for Phantom Covert Ops. Again, I mentioned this in the midweek, but I'm going to touch on it again here. June 25th, Phantom Covert Ops will be coming out. Hopefully by then we are out of the social or physical distancing phase, whichever you want to call it. But in case we are not, we will have a new game where we are required to sit still and hide.
In your kayak.
Yes. In the bushes.
In the bushes. If the bushes don't disappear, of course.
Yes.
We don't want those disappearing bushes.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is I've been waiting for Covert Ops for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't know if I'm waiting for Covert Ops anymore. I really, it seemed like such a great idea a year ago, and now
Right.
I'm waiting for the Del Mar headset to be released to see whether or not it will be backwards compatible.
Well, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but yeah, that is interesting. But before all those games come, Half-Life Alyx is releasing on Monday. It is able to be preloaded now, and from one comment that I saw on Twitter, I think, it's like 48 gigabytes.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So, if you are using a Shadow PC to try and play it, you're going to have to clear out a little bit of room. It's not... what's interesting is that this is another AAA title, right? A big studio, but it's not over 200 gigabytes to get it like Asgard's Wrath was. So
Right.
you're not going to have to clear out quite as much as you did for Asgard's Wrath. So that tells me that it's better optimized. I forget if we mentioned this in the show or not, or just in the Discord, but Upload VR had an article linking to a video where someone used basically an exploit in the Steam VR environments to be able to climb to the Citadel Tower and then up to the top of it, because he could. And in his video, it shows that the further away he gets from the home area where he's supposed to be, the more everything is here. It is, but from this way, it's nothing. Well, it's only one plane. It's only drawing what you can see from where you are supposed to be.
Okay.
So, in other words, it is heavily optimized using I forget what the term for it was offhand, but like they do in the Vader Immortal series, they're only drawing what you can actually see from where you are, and it's all pre-rendered. So if you go someplace you're not supposed to be, you're going to see messed up looking graphics. You're going to see missing surfaces and whatnot. So
that tends to happen in a lot of games, actually.
Well, yeah. Well, it's kind of necessary. If you want to optimize the game like that,
right,
for VR.
Oh, understood. There are trade-offs.
Yeah. So, and I'm wondering if Asgard's Wrath does not do that, and that's one of the reasons why it's so huge a download. Or maybe it's just a more open world, and Half-Life Alyx is going to be a less open world that's going to feel more open.
Right.
You know what I mean?
would think, I would think that a lot of the textures in Half-Life Alyx could be reused,
Well, yeah.
utilized.
Yeah.
And I think that could end up being one of the main differences is
Well,
that
yeah. I mean, one of the things, especially for developing for the Quest and the Go and the Gear VR, is have all of your textures for everything in the scene be
baked in,
one be one texture.
right? You want it all baked in.
And you just use a displacement map to basically to have the right portion of it be on the right object.
Right.
So, and I'm sure they are using stuff like that, and it just it's much more heavily optimized, it seems, than than Asgard's Wrath is, which is probably a good thing because that makes it accessible to more people.
Sure.
And I think even though they weren't releasing it on the Quest platform, they are thinking of it with the Quest in mind as well. Because, as I'm going to mention in the news, they've done some trying to optimize for the Quest also. So
It would be nice to see if they could do that.
yeah. So anyways, speaking of the news, Facebook has announced prototype OpenXR compatibility for the Rift and the Quest later this month. She's given their earlier hint as to opening things up or making outside of the store stuff available and whatnot. I'm wondering if this has to do with that. OpenXR is a standard that, in theory, lets the VR app be developed once and run on any the platform that supports OpenXR.
Right. Basically,
Currently,
the
the Oculus platform does not support that, but they are beginning to allow developers to develop using OpenXR later this month. So,
which would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, that would open up the VR industry tremendously. And if the Quest can handle that type of porting with immediacy, that would be...
Yep. Yeah.
That would be something that I wish they could do this week, considering what's going on with COVID, but okay, at least they got to get started.
Right. In another bit of news, this came out as part of the Oculus GDC stuff. More than 20 Quest apps have grossed over $1 million so far, and Beat Saber has had over 2 million. And I forget the other number, but I want to say like over 10 million downloads or something like that. So
Beat Saber?
Yeah,
I think I read something
it's doing
like,
very well.
Yeah, $6.7 million, including music sales also. So it's...
Yeah.
Yeah. You would think so for a game that involves boxes and lightsabers.
Yeah. Speaking of Echo VR and the closed alpha, Space Pirate Arena is starting betas, and there has sign-up form, which we will link to also. That looks exciting. You will need a 10 meter by 10 meter area or access to a 10 meter by 10 meter area to play in. They are going to provide a server you can run on your local laptop if you don't have access to a Wi-Fi network, so you can have the server itself on your laptop and just do an ad hoc hotspot to connect the two Quest with. So,
well, I hope everyone
if you have access
has...
to a 10 meter square place and you have a friend with a Quest that would love to test it out with you, go apply for this beta. Sorry, go ahead.
900 square feet. 900 square feet.
No,
yeah.
10 by 10 would be 1,000.
10 by 10. 10 meters by 10 meters.
Well, no, that'd be 100 square meters. Yeah.
Yeah. 100 square meters. Square meter is a little over 9 feet. So, yeah, a little over 900 feet. Somewhere between 900 and 1,000 square feet.
It's over 9,000. Sorry.
Yeah, that's going to really, let's see, the amount of Quest owners that have 1,000 square feet open to them. I don't think we're going to see a lot of people. I love the idea. I just wish that they could sort of make the area that you need to play in a little more non-Euclidean or something. So,
well, in the future, down the road, they are going to have different play area sizes also. But I believe their roadmap involves getting to the arcades first, which are going to have those huge spaces. But down the road, they'll be having some smaller maps as well. They'll be having user-created maps. So there's going to be the variation in it down the road, and probably during future betas, they're going to test those other sizes also. In my case, I signed up for the beta, even though I don't have right here a 10-meter square space, but I'm pretty sure that there are storage units nearby-ish enough that I can rent for, a lot of them are like at most $30 a month with a free first month. So $30 for 2 months of renting it, I can put a shout out to the local VR people, say, hey, anybody with a Quest want to help me test this? Yeah. So
yeah, down here, those are not the prices of storage units, unfortunately. A storage unit that size would be rented out as an apartment. So,
yeah, well, I'm not saying it'll necessarily be easy to find one, but I don't know. If nothing else, you can just on a cloudy day go to a tennis court nearby and do it outside on the tennis court.
I haven't seen many 1,000 square foot tennis courts.
Well, the developer said roughly half a tennis court had the play area needed. So.
Okay, that's a lot less than what we're discussing. So.
Well.
Seems to be a bit of a disparity. But I had read also 6 meters by 6 meters was a minimum play space, whereas 9 by 9 was the preferred play space. So I'm not really sure as to how elastic the space is.
He also said, ideally, you'd want more like a 12 meters, so that you have an extra buffer. But if you're doing it outdoors, obviously there's no buffer needed. But hang on,
I really wish that Oculus would come up with some sort of sunglasses.
100 meters is 328.084 feet. So 100 to square meters would only be 330 square feet, right? So that's not 1,000. That's only 300 some odd, right? Nope. I'm doing my math wrong. Yes. That would be about 1,000. You're right. So yeah.
I was going to say, wow, you just really blew my mind. I thought I knew math.
I was doing the new math.
Oh, okay.
And let's see. Tennis court dimensions. I clicked on the wrong link there. Okay. Here we go. How big is a tennis court? Probably depends on if you're doing a Chateauman size one or not. So 39 feet is the from the net to the back end there, and then 36 feet. The other dimension, so 36 by 39. And I'm not going to rely on doing it in my head
It'd be
right
about
now
10 by 12 meters.
because obviously I have a feeling of that right now. But 39 times 36 is 1,404. So yes, half a tennis court is about the right size.
Well, actually, it's more like 0.64% of the tennis court, maybe 0.7,
Well,
but okay.
It'd be like only in the singles area, not in the doubles area.
Okay, but you should remove the net.
No,
Oh, that just makes it more interesting.
that's a safety net, so you don't go into the other side. So, anyways, if you have access to a tennis court near you,
And you happen to not care whether or not the sun burns out your sensors while you're tracking.
or you have access to an indoor tennis court.
Now we're talking. Because right now what you want to do is be in an indoor confined space, like everybody is telling you.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, in other news that we already alluded to earlier, Facebook has leaked, or someone leaked information about Facebook and the code names for two new devices, the Del Mar, which appears to be a standalone VR headset, and Jedi controllers, which would go with the aforementioned the Del Mar standalone headset.
Right. So I'm thinking of it this way. Pretty much the Del Mar headset is a done deal because everything has been named for California City before it's hit the market. So if they've already included it in the software, it's just a matter of time until it hits the market.
Right.
The other thing I'm thinking is that Jedi controllers sort of indicates mind control, which might indicate sort of advanced finger tracking, possibly.
Maybe. I posted in the Discord with a couple ideas. So Facebook has acquired a few companies or a company that was working on a wrist worn thing that can detect hand tracking and finger tracking and all that. There are also a few companies out there that have been using brainwave tracking. Though they have not made it into mainstream yet, but I'm sure Facebook is aware of those, and maybe they are working on that also.
That's San Fernando.
What?
That's the San Fernando.
Yeah, maybe. No, that's the San Andreas.
That's your fault.
Yes. One technology that I know, I think it got acquired, and I think by them, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's one that is using. Has started off life at the Mio or the Mio armband, which detected your muscle movements, and was originally a presentation control device, but it's been tested with VR stuff also, and they've progressed and whatnot, and it can, in theory, detect intent. So it can detect an intent to reach out and grab without you actually reaching out and grabbing. So that could be the Jedi aspect. Who knows? It remains to be seen what this actually means. I'm sure more information will be leaked later. It almost always is. But I don't think we are going to see this year. I think the earliest we're going to see this would be next year. Usually, it seems these codename devices are around for a year or more before they're actually released.
I was going to say anywhere from 8 to 18 months before you actually see the device. So, which would be understandable, because I know there was news today that Apple is already making advances in glasses that they're not making. So, you know, it's sort of like, okay, I believe you. I didn't see the other one. I'm not going to see these. That's very nice.
Yeah. Speaking of Jedi stuff and Apple glasses, Gabe Newell thinks we are closer to the Matrix than people think.
I agree with
But
Gabe.
it won't be exactly like the movie. It'll be, I guess, weirder and trippier or something like that. So
more like The Under?
Maybe, I don't know.
Ooh, that would be freaky.
But he basically said that was muscle control and reading and the eye tracking and all that stuff, that's much more so trivial than other stuff like smell and feeling and all the other stuff. But we could, in theory, have the eye and the and the motion stuff sooner than we think, and that it's coming, and companies need to be ready for it.
Okay, hopefully it's coming before the Del Mar. No, I agree. I think that, you know, once they started announcing these neuro computer interfaces like a year ago, that we're in for a rude awakening when they actually finally appear.
As long as it doesn't involve sticking an implant inside of my brain, that's too risky right now.
Oh, I'm sorry, it does.
So, and speaking of Gabe Newell, DVR update and improved tracking for Quest with Link. We already alluded to that earlier. The Oculus Quest, when you are using Link and using DVR, is going to have the better tracking. Just in time for Half-Life Alyx.
Amazing. What a coinky-dink, huh?
I know, right?
I am
so weird.
Surprised. So surprised.
Yep. So as I mentioned earlier, I wonder if the heavily optimized models and textures in Half-Life Alyx are intended to help so the Quest be able to run it better too. The cat wants my attention.
Well, you know, cats are curious, and I guess he wants to know as well. So
yeah,
curious cats want to know.
Yep, bad curiosity killed the cat. So
go away.
He's on his 18th life, I think.
Pretty lucky.
Speaking to what you were speaking about earlier, from Philadelphia, there was news that the Temple, I think Temple University, there is a professor who is teaching in VR. And from the photo that they had on the short article, which was like 3 sentences, not the best written article. But
concise.
It looked like he might have been using Rumi. So going is by the avatar that it showed. So things are moving more in that direction, but people are resistant to change, and this was all of a sudden upon us. We have to scramble to find things. I mean, How my son's Chromebook that he has from his school, he's got Google to Classrooms on there. All of them do. They haven't been using it, and now they have to.
Right.
You know, and they don't really know how to use it yet because they've never used it.
The timing is kind of bad. The time to teach it was before it was necessary, as opposed to.
That's why you and I like to stay ahead of the curve and to keep abreast of new things rather than just finding out on the day of or whatever. You know?
A week later, yeah.
Right.
A year later, exactly.
Right. So it always pays to learn new things, and during the downtime that a lot of us have, go out, learn new things. So Coursera has making a lot of stuff available on online, and heck, if you want to do it in VR, you can. You can open up the Oculus browser and do it through there. I'm sure.
Oh, and just in time for the triple browser windows, multiple browser windows. And,
yeah.
But the thing is that one thing is that the term virtual is now being used for every sort of communication other than face-to-face.
It kind of was already used to mean not just virtual reality, but online using Zoom or whatever as well. But I agree, it's kind of confusing when we were reading the news to know if they are talking about virtual reality or just virtual like what you and I are doing right now. We're having a virtual face-to-face.
Exactly. So they're talking real. I mean, they mix it all together. I mean, they really do, because a face-to-face meeting or FaceTime or a go-to meeting or virtual reality or talking to your friend on a phone or telemedicine. I mean, pretty soon the food's going to be virtual. I don't know. It's crazy. It really is.
Soylent Green.
Oh, well, let's hope there's a few more weeks before we're into the summer. Unfortunately, we're manufacturing.
Yeah. Last bit of news, you already alluded to some, I think. There was a new Apple patent that I literally ran across minutes before we were going to start recording. The new Apple patent where they patented optical systems that are able to be miniaturized into the size appropriate for being in the temple arm of smart glasses, or it's big enough to be in a smart TV or whatever as well. So that definitely points to the fact that we already know that they are working on smart glasses. They are working on augmented reality glasses. So when exactly that's going to come, I don't know, but it is coming, and this is another piece of evidence that they are working on that.
Exactly. So we're seeing the better screens that they're coming out with for the virtual reality glasses. So it looks like we're about to make the step into phase 1.3.
1.02.
02. Wow, you're taking us back even further. I was going to to 1.3. Okay, I'll give it a 1.02, but I'm hoping for a 1.3 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which I think we might be able to do if companies decide to go back into production.
Yeah, I am. As much as I'm more of an Android fan than I am an Apple fan, I strongly suspect at this point that that Apple is going to have the first consumer-ready AR smart glasses.
Yes, but I predict that Android will be the first one.
To be subsidized by the cell phone carriers, so they're going to be more widespread because they're subsidized just by T-Mobile and Verizon and AT&T.
Well, and I was going to say that my prediction is that even though Apple might be the first one to make this available to the consumer, it will be Android that makes this one actually affordable to the consumer.
That could be too. But as I was just mentioning, with it subsidized by the carriers, you just add it on to your plan, and you've automatically got a monthly payment for it, basically. You know, so
Yeah,
it's affordable in the way that my $1,000 Galaxy S10 is. You know, I can't afford that out of the pocket, but with the monthly plan payments, you know, and whatever Android ones come out, they'll be great also, and they might be affordable without going through a carrier, or they might go through carriers also. I don't know, but I kind of think that because a lot of these will still need a computer to power them, and a lot of them are looking at using smartphones to power them, we are going to see it tied to the carriers. It will also be available outside of the carriers, but we're going to see at least a few of the carriers also offer it, I think.
right.
So,
Well, right now I would normally say that you're probably correct, and you very well might be. My little portion of today's show is just going to say that I don't know that we know where any particular industry is going to land within the next 6 months or so,
hmm
until we finally see the results of where this is in like 6 months from now, as
right,
far as production and companies being able to ship products back and forth to each other and supply chains being rearranged and finances just getting all into place.
right.
So, the other thing is just for the people that are watching, keeping their spirits up and keeping their exercise going
Yep,
and their mental
VR is
well-being
great for
going.
that.
Right now, there
Both of
is
them.
nothing better than VR.
Yeah. I mean, we have the new app, the Color Space. We have existing apps like Trip. That's a very it's a therapeutic app. We have Helium XR. That's available on several VR platforms. Um, we have Nature Treks. We have Fuji, that weird, trippy cosmic guardian gardening app. Yeah.
Right. So there's several
And we
different
have the
meditative.
exercise apps, it's the Beat Saber, Pistol Whip, Audica. Well, Audica's not really exercise, but the Throw of the Fight, Creed, the Spock VR, Dance Central.
And we also have the multiplayers where you can get together, even though you're
And be
confining
social.
yourself, depending
Yeah.
on where you live. You can go in and you can watch movies with people in big screen,
Yep.
or you can get together. I think Netflix actually just added a feature to their desktop version or their laptop version
Okay.
of the player where you can now watch with friends,
Oh,
like
that'd be
YouTube
nice.
had done.
Um, in the past, my wife and I have kind of done that in Netflix and VR, meaning she had her VR on, I had my VR on, and we went, okay, 3, 2, 1, press play.
Right. It'll be a little confusing for
But
sure, but
yeah, yeah,
they're trying
that
to
sounds
make things
great.
available to
This
us.
is why earlier I said social or physical distancing, whichever you want to call it, because I saw someone on Twitter. I think it was the VR the CEO, Matt Chekon, saying it should really be called physical distancing, because it doesn't have to be social distancing. You
Exactly.
can still be social. We are social right now. This is a social moment. When I go into all space, I'm surrounded by other people that I can talk to, I can go up to. I'm not physically near them, but socially, I am near them. When I play a multiplayer game, in VR, especially if it's got voice chat, which not a lot of them do, or not all of them do. It is social. I mean, later on today, you and Michael and a few others are going to be playing Elven Assassin, player versus player.
Right.
There's voice chat in there. You guys will be social with each other. You know, you're not socially distant when you are doing that. You are physically distant, but you're not socially distant.
Exactly. And within the space that we're playing, we're not physically distant, which is the beauty of the immersion
Right.
in the virtual reality, is that we are in the same space or same illusory space that we
Right.
want.
You're in the same virtual space.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, it's great because especially once again in these times, depending on where you live, some people are really confined. And
Yeah. And if you have access to the VR headset, go use it and be social with other people. Don't just huddle in your space in the real world, watching the news preach doom and gloom over and over again.
right.
You know, there is more to life than being at home, afraid of the coronavirus. You know.
Even though you wouldn't believe it if you watch the news,
I know.
it is something that we as virtual reality users have already understood, the immersion and everything else. We just didn't realize that at this particular time in history, this would be the most ideal
Right.
communication device and activity device and you name it device for a world that's been basically put into hiding. So,
and if you have a VR headset and people that you want to socially undistance yourself from do not, a lot of these also have flat screen mode. Altspace has flat screen mode. Rec Room has flat screen mode. VR Chat has flat screen mode. You can still go in and hang out with them, learn new things in those environments, or just play games, or just do wacky things together. You know, you in VR, they not in VR.
exactly.
But you are still socially with each other.
So whatever you can do to break the loneliness, this is a great way to do it. So what
you
we
don't have
advise,
to socially isolate.
exactly,
Physically isolate, but not socially.
we'll beat this thing together. So,
and on that note, I need to start getting ready to help a relative to physically isolate herself even more by going back to her own state.
okay.
In other words, driving her to the airport.
Oh, well, please stay safe when you drive by the airport. Slow down to let her out, but don't stop.
I'm going to spray her with Lysol before I let her in the car.
Please do. And yourself after she gets out of the car.
No. All right.
Okay,
Take care.
Josh.
Have fun.
You have a good one.
See you next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.